Hi, I'm Mark Scherer. I'm the CEO and founder of Encompass Life and the host of the Wellness Revolution podcast. And today we have Sheera Goren on the call, and she is the founder and CEO of a company called Zygo. And she has a software that helps with swimming. And by the way, Sheera's ready for me. She's not a swimmer, she's not a developer, but she has a passion for something. And from what I get, big visions. So I'm really enthusiastic to have her on the show and finding out more about what she's doing and what the heck is the name of Zygo. So, hi, Sheera. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
You're welcome, ma'am. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with this swimming software, and what does it do?
Yeah, well, I'll address your name question just because that was the big question mark. But so actually, it's not just software. Our main innovation is the hardware piece. So it's a underwater headset for streaming audio. The only things that existed in swim were MP3 players. So we developed the tech of the hardware to be able to stream underwater like you do if you go on a run. And when we were researching, so we use bone conduction, so it doesn't go in your ears, it sits right in front of your ears. And the way that bone conduction works is that, to put it simply, it vibrates a facial bone right here called your zygomatic arch. And so we took the word zygo from zygomatic arch because it's ownable. We liked that it had a Z in it, and go, it felt active, and it was very, very ownable in terms of IP. And so we went with it, and that's how we got the name of Zygo. I think you're on mute.
Tell me about your technology.
Yeah.
How does it adhere? How far? How you said it works underwater? How far underwater does it work? Oh, you have a
So it's a headset just like this. This is actually our Z2. We had a Z1 model that we've discontinued, but this is Z2. So it just goes like just around the back of your head and sits right in front of your ears. Once you start swimming with it, it becomes invisible. And Bluetooth doesn't penetrate water. So that's the big deal here, is that we use radio frequency. So it can send a long enough wavelength to be able to penetrate water, because it goes against the laws of physics for audio to cut through water. And so bone conduction we chose because we thought it worked better underwater. It works better underwater than above water, but in ear, you kind of have problems like water getting in your ear. They're cumbersome. Like, we tried every product on market. We were not trying to build this at all. We would like to buy it, but it didn't exist, and nothing. When we talked to people, no one like swore by a brand or some device that they used. Everyone thought that there was a massive gap in the market.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've looked at things as well, just like, what things could actually work underwater before, and the same thing, Bluetooth doesn't work underwater. I figured, know that, and just
Right.
most of the even AirPods or something, if they get, a lot of things, they get wet, they're ruined. So it's awesome.
Right.
So how far underwater will the radio frequency device work?
Right. Yeah. So every inch is like a feat of physics. So our product requirement was, our main purpose is lap swimming. So most people swim in like a 25-yard pool. An Olympic-sized pool is 50 meters. So our product requirement was 50 meters at 2 to 3 feet below the water. So you're not diving down to like 10 feet, but enough where you can swim back and forth listening to an audiobook or podcast. And then a real big feature that we upgraded in our second version is we built in an algorithm to buffer the audio, so that when you do a flip turn, our first version cut out at the other side of the pool, and this one, the buffer masks it. So when you do a flip turn, the audio stays the whole time you're swimming. So you don't hear a cutout of the audio. So that was a really big thing that we worked on the past 2 years.
So the longer I'm speaking with you, the cooler this product is.
Nice.
Really neat.
Nice.
Really neat. Wow. Wish I swam, but
yeah. Yeah. You live in Florida, so I feel like you kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah. Once I started this business a couple of years ago, I've been like 7 days a week working to get my company up and running too. So we've been in a startup stage for a while too. So
yeah.
So, and you said you and your partner who lives in the UK, is that correct? So long distance partnership. business
Yeah.
partnership, business
Yeah.
partner, not romantic partner, but business partner. We've discussed that.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, and so, what's your history together?
Yeah. I mean, so again, we went to high school together. So we had a foundational respect for each other. We weren't that close, but so we went our separate ways. I went to Michigan. I played soccer there. I went to UCLA Law School. I was working as a lawyer. He is a self-proclaimed China nerd, so he spent time in China and speaks the language and worked for companies there. And then he was working at Palantir. Neither one of us are engineers, but we definitely complement each other in terms of he's definitely more on the creative brand side of things, like big vision, and I'm a much more of an operator, detail oriented on the ground. And so when we started talking, it really fit. And I said this to you too. I think the fact that we were not swimmers and we were not engineers allowed us the foolishness to think that we could build this, because had we known the challenges that lie ahead, and a lot of the technical people we spoke to said it wasn't possible, we probably would not be here. So potentially our ignorance works against us in some ways, but I also know that it helped get us to where we are now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, who are you doing the marketing side, or he's doing the marketing side? What are y'all's roles and responsibilities as a
I mean,
team?
in a small company of two, I mean, now we have a third person who helps with customer service, but it's a bit of semantics because we kind of touch everything. But if we were going to allocate time, Charlie would take on more of the marketing side, and I would do more of the operations. So, like inventory management, sales people, and more of the things on the ground that happen, just because our business is based in the U.S. and we're just focused on the U.S. right now. But we both touch basically everything, again, because we're a very small team.
Have Have you thought of using this product as a training tool for swim teams, universities, and things like that as well?
Yeah, that's a part of our strategy. We launched during COVID. We started shipping our first product in September of 2020, and so I think we had to rethink a little bit about how we get to people. We just sell on our website, and I think we learned pretty quickly that with teams and coaches aren't really great on email. They want to being on deck with them, so like meeting them in person on deck, you get like a lot more bang for your buck. But no one was meeting in person. And then there was also like budgetary constraints. So I definitely think with this next version, we have the opportunity to reach out to more teams and take more meetings. But the biggest part of the market is kind of just your average person who swims 2 to 3 days a week for recreational fitness.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just thinking, I can see if you have 15 swimmers in a pool, you can have
Yeah.
the frequency adjusted to each one individually. Do y'all have multiple channels that you can run on?
So the transmitter is one to many. So you can connect as many headsets as you want to the transmitter. You would need a separate transmitter to connect to different ones. So you can't single out individual swimmers. Everyone would hear the same thing from one transmitter. But if you had 4 transmitters set up, let's say each one was paired to 2, then you could have, 2 on different,
I gotcha.
with different coaches.
Awesome. That's a cool idea to be able to do that as well.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
and what's the investment for your product?
Price point?
Yes,
I like that.
I said investment. So
Yeah, investment. It's $299. So it retails for $299 right now
what?
on our website.
I mean, including the transmitter and everything?
Yeah, for the whole package, which is a great price for that investment.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's AirPods that are more expensive than that.
Yeah, and with this second version, so we kept the cost the same, but we reduced our cost. So from a business perspective, it's much more like the pathway to profitability for us is clearer, and the margins are a lot healthier for us. It was kind of one of those things that we were balancing price point with like what people would spend, because our goal is for every swimmer everywhere to have this, just like every runner everywhere has something that they can listen to when they run. And so our goal would be to democratize it even more, if that means bringing down the cost at some point. But to your point, with AirPods and Beats and Bose, it's within the realm of what the price ranges are there, maybe even under.
Yeah, exactly, and way
Yeah.
more features. So,
Yeah.
what does it sync? Does the transmitter sync with the phone?
Correct. So the transmitter has Bluetooth capabilities. So you can Bluetooth connect your phone to the transmitter, just like you would with anything, and then you press play on your phone. So if you want an audiobook or a podcast or music, it streams directly from the transmitter then to the headset.
Wow.
Yeah, that was our really key innovation. That's what our utility patent is on. It was like the conversion of the Bluetooth signal in the transmitter to the long enough bandwidth, the impedance matching to then be able to get through water.
Oh, so you got a patent on this too?
We have a few, yeah,
A
we do.
few. Just
We
go.
have a few.
Just go.
Yeah,
Yes, we
yeah.
do.
Well, I mean, we have one utility granted, we have one design granted, and then we have another utility pending. So 3.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah,
So are you
it's
taking
fun.
outside investors in, or you're funding it all yourself?
That has been a lesson in hardware because it is so capital intensive. No, we've taken outside capital, friends, family, angels. Our biggest checks are from family offices. We pitched, I mean, I have a spreadsheet of like 500 venture capital firms, and we have 0 of them on our cap table. Most of them have no appetite for hardware or early stage hardware. So we got a lot of no's along the way. And relatively speaking, building hardware from scratch, we have not raised that much, especially when you compare it to other players in market. So we've done it as leanly as possible, but we've had to take outside capital just because it's an expensive endeavor. You're on mute, I think.
Where's your product made?
We manufacture in Shenzhen,
Gotcha.
outside of in China.
And how's quality control and everything?
It's great. I mean, we did like 7 factory scouts. Our guy on the ground there was the first GoPro hire in Asia, so he helps us with quality control. And our factory is owned by a Finnish parent company, and so they have a lot of Western mentalities. And so it's been really great. I mean, when I was going through this, like we've vetted people all over, and it's impossible to make it in the US, not just like price wise, but technical expertise wise. And found a team that also was able to take a chance on an up and coming startup, which we couldn't really prove what we were going to build. So we're happy with our partners.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Huh. Very interesting. So who's your you said you had 40,000 units, is that correct? Out?
About, yeah.
And what are your sales currently?
Well, so 40,000 units of our first version. And then we ended life, the first version, January of this past year, because we're coming out with the second version, which is a bit delayed. We thought we would be shipping in April. So we taking pre-orders. We have about 4,500 pre-orders for our first version, but had to turn off marketing because we're delayed and the management of customers. And also I totally get it. They want it as soon as possible, but we also can't spend more if we're not delivering. So we shut that off. Hopefully we're going to start fulfilling and be done with those pre-orders within the next like 6 weeks. And then after that, we'll turn marketing back on and can start to really see our sales grow.
Gotcha.
So this year's been kind of like a transition year.
And do you have room for wholesale pricing as well at those margins, or?
With this margins, yeah. Our first product, no. We still haven't opened up to Amazon either, so I think that would be a big first distribution step for us. And then we do have healthy enough margins, especially as we start to grow and scale, for a wholesale distribution.
Awesome. So maybe at some point in time, Best Buy, those
exactly.
Types, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm really enthusiastic about meeting you. This sounds really cool, especially with the patents and all your expertise behind it now, after a few years of realizing, holy crap, what did I get into?
Yeah. I still think about that every morning. But no, it's been fun. And for us, the building phase is a lot of learning, but I really enjoy once we have our product out in market and just you hear stories of like weight loss journeys or people who were injured and swimming was boring, or like there's so many reasons people come to swim, and hearing customers or hearing how a customer like blows through an audiobook every week because they're just like they can't stop swimming because they just want to keep listening to the book. And it's really fun. I mean, that really helps remind us why we're doing what we're doing, and why we got into it in the first place.
So are you starting to swim now as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm completely biased, but like I only swim with our product. So we also, the other thing I'll mention is we have an app of guided workouts similar to Peloton Outdoor. It's paired to fun music, and it's, it could be like a 30-minute interval set or a 20-minute sprint set, with a coach guiding you through the workout. And as a non-swimmer who, when I work out, I work out with Peloton or Nike Run or something like that. I can't swim without it. And so that's the other piece that we haven't been able to fully focus on, but think that the app side of things, where we can start to gamify, being like, hey, Mark, you just swam the length of the English Channel, or adding to your team's leaderboard, will help kind of not just make it a one-time hardware purchase, but also more of a brand and more of like a community-driven, fun sport where it's been relegated to silence and solitariness before.
So is it not? It's like, is it keeping track of how long a person's swimming or how fast they're swimming as well?
So we are building in lap counting, so it'll say how many laps you did and the distance. It's a pretty bare bones metric, because it's not giving instantaneous feedback because the data has to collect after you're out of the pool, but enough where then you can kind of quantify it and then add it into your holistic Apple Health Kit, or also just like add to various features within the app as well. There's also there's a tempo trainer too. So if you do care about your timing, there's other features you can use.
Cool. I got somebody for you to meet. I actually have two people as you're speaking for you to introduce you to. So remind me after we get off. I believe
we'll do.
Yeah, I believe you're going to enjoy them. So, how do people get in touch with you if they choose to get some of your product?
Yeah, so our website is www.shopzygo.com, and Zygo is Zygo. I'm also always happy to talk to anyone. So my email is Sheera@zygoco.com.
And how do you spell Sheera?
Sheera.
Yep. Just for them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm really just, I have a question I'd like to ask everybody before they get off the call. And what do you love?
The first thing that pops into my head is I love that I am building something that never existed in the world before. I think it is a very cool opportunity to be part of the team bringing something to market where before 0 people in the world had ever streamed audio underwater. And now with Zygo and what we're doing, that's just not true anymore. People can stream audio underwater, and I love it.
What other feelings are associated with bringing something new to the world for you?
Fear, scary. It's scary. All of my eggs are in this basket, so sometimes I feel like a duck underwater, like just trying to stay above. And that's perfect timing. And excitement, honestly. Like I wouldn't trade it for the world. So
one of the analogies I talk about with clients is the feeling of success is, imagine if you're swimming underwater and going for your personal underwater records by swimming the length of the pool. And you get almost to where you get ready to come up, and somebody grabs your feet, pulls you 60 foot under the water, and now you got a choice to make. And that's either you either die or you really double down, recommit, and go up for it, right? And the feeling of success, as you go up, you're fighting can I make it? Can I not do this? And all those conversations going up until you finally get up and take that first breath of air. And to me, that's a feeling of success. And it's gratitude and, oh my gosh, I finally did it. And give yourself the feeling of that first breath of air is what success is about to me. A feeling of success.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think I am still getting pulled under a little bit, but we're fighting our way up
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, congratulations. And I really enjoyed having you on the show. And
thank you so much. It was fun to be here.
you're welcome. And that's a wrap on this one. And we'll see you next time. Blessings.